Hey, what's up guys, DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the critical stage tower challenges. We are only going to be looking at the tower challenges from 11 through 13, because those are the hardest tower challenges to do, other than really 14 and 15, but 14 and 15 aren't all that difficult if you can beat 11 through 13. So I'm going to take you guys through the teams I used to clear these 3 difficulties here, and then I'm also going to show you guys at least 2 of my runs. Apologies, I did not actually record my run for the 11th tower challenge, but the team I used for the 13th tower challenge is the exact same team I used for the 11th challenge, so hopefully that'll give you a good idea of what type of team you need to use to clear the 11th challenge. Now the 12th challenge is a little bit different, the team I used, so I'll show you that really quickly before I show you the teams and before I show you my runs. Let's talk about what you need to do for these 3 tower challenges. For the 11th tower challenge, you need to complete the first floor with Bakugo and Uraraka as regulars in 6 turns with no KOs and with a score of 2,000 or more, and then complete all floors on difficulty S. Now, this one can be quite hard to do. This was probably one of the hardest floors to accomplish. I did end up using blue Bakugo and green Uraraka to do this, and I'll show you that with the team and the memories I used and stuff like that. The 12th, come on. There we go. The 12th challenge is complete the second floor with Bakugo and Uraraka as regulars in 6 turns, so still 6 turns with no KOs and with a score of 2100 or more, then complete all floors on difficulty S. Now, as you go up in these tower challenges, it actually gets easier to achieve the score. That's why like the 11th one is hard, because it's hard to get a score of 2000, but getting a score of 2100 isn't that hard in the 12th one. And then getting the score in the 13th one isn't that hard. What's really hard, or I found was the most difficult part, is achieving this in like 6 turns. So I did end up using a different Bakugo for this 12th challenge, not the blue one. And I ended up using a different Uraraka, so I'll show you what those are. And the team actually worked pretty well, but it was a bit of a challenge. Alright, and then the last tower challenge that we're going to talk about today is the 13th one. Complete the 3rd floor of Bakugo and Uraraka as regulars in 7 turns, so this one gives you 1 extra turn with no KOs and with a score of 2200 or more, then complete all floors on difficulty S. I actually found this one to be the easier one. It wasn't all that hard, so I don't know, for whatever reason. Like I said, as you go up in difficulty or go up in floors, the points are more guaranteed, and then they gave us this extra turn here, so I found it easier to do, but that's just me. Alright, so let's take a look at the teams we used to do this. Team selection. If it ever loads. Okay, so this team doesn't really matter. I kind of switched them around, obviously. This is not a team I used to clear any of the challenges. This team right here, I did use. This is the exact team. Sorry about the flashes. My internet really sucks. I did screen record my runs, so the runs that you'll be seeing here in a minute won't be all weird like this. Normally I have to screen record stuff ahead of time and then put it on my computer. And this time I just did not screen record it because I wanted to talk as it goes through it. But this is terrible, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll fix itself. Yeah. Alright, so this is the team I used for the second tower, or technically tower challenge number 12. Okay, so the second challenge of the S difficulty though. And you can see here I used a level 90 Endeavor. I actually used the SR USJ Bakugo, and I used the brand new SR Cheer Uraraka. So if you've been wondering why you haven't seen a showcase from me yet for this Cheer Uraraka, it is literally because I used her in this VE Tower, and I thought this video will serve perfectly as a showcase for why this Cheer Uraraka is actually freaking nuts for an SR. And it's also going to give you, how to beat the tower challenge as well. So this is the team I ran to beat tower challenge number 12. And tower challenge number 12 did take me a few times to switching my team up because blue Bakugo just didn't cut it against 2 green enemies. And then even green Ochako wasn't really all that good because she doesn't do enough damage. So I really like what ended up happening with this yellow Ochako and the red Bakugo. The red USJ Bakugo, I may have underrated him too much in the past. He is actually really, really strong, and he hits really hard, and it's a free board 9 from the USJ shop if you buy his orbs. So make sure you invest in him if you want to beat this tower challenge. He is actually really good. So this is definitely a free-to-play friendly team right here for the most part, if you at least pulled the SR on the recent banner. Let's talk about Ochako's skills really quickly, because I said this will kind of serve as a showcase for her too. I'll do that just real quickly. Her plus ultra deals 400% damage to a single opponent, also shortens the action skill cooldown of allies. This is really helpful, really helpful in the stage, giving you extra attacks with Endeavor and Bakugo. And then her first action skill is Full of Spirit. When HP is 50% or higher, increases power of all allies by 20% for 3 turns. When HP is 50% below 50%, increases power of all allies by 35% for 3 turns. And also increases the plus ultra gauge of all allies. So that is just absolutely crazy. That helped a lot. Like, this made Bakugo hit like a madman. This SR Bakugo hit so hard. I'm telling you, I was actually genuinely surprised by how hard he hit. And I was very happy. And I think a lot of that is due to this Ochako right here. And then her other action skill, Peaceful Cheer, gives all allies a barrier that nullifies 1 hit. Also increases character's plus ultra gauge by 25%. Also amazing. And then, of course, she increases skill impact of mind allies, but that didn't really matter here. And then the last one, this one was really good, and I actually had to go, I tried this a few times without having the first slot on her piece board done. You're going to want this first slot done if you're going to use her in this tower challenge, because it helps a lot. Once per battle, when HP is below 50%, gives character a barrier that nullifies 2 hits, and increases their plus ultra gauge by 20%. So that personal growth auto skill actually helped me a lot in this particular stage. So just keep that in mind. If you are going to use this Chiro Ochako, you are going to want the first slot on her piece board done, and you are going to want her awakened if at all possible. Okay, so that is the team I used on Tower Challenge number 12, and now I will show you guys a video of how that run went. Alright, and here is that run for the 12th Tower Challenge, the critical stage. And so right here, I do use Ochako's power up first, just to make sure I get these 2 powered up. And then from there, it doesn't really matter which moves I use next. I do use Endeavor's Attack All because I want to try and burn them. He gets Speed Down, which gives his next ability higher damage. And then you can see Ochako putting a barrier on everyone there. And then Bakugo hitting for like 23,000, which is absolutely nuts. Now, I do get a little worried right here because Bakugo gets confused. And having him confused means obviously you can't use his skills, which is like detrimental. I do use target mode here to target Togata, because I figure at the end, I've done this so many times, it took me a bunch of resets, that I'm able to attack both because of Ochako's action skill cooldown, like she reduces it. So I'll be able to attack both with either Bakugo or Endeavor here at the end. So I figure I can just finish them both off in the last turn. Now, granted, we only have 6 turns to do this. This is turn 5. You can see how much health they both have. You are really relying on the burns here to be able to win. And right here, I'm a little nervous about winning. I use Ochako's power up. That's a 35% power up when she's below 50% health. So that helps a lot here. Endeavor attacks all, and luckily he gets a crit on Togata. And then you can see Bakugo also hit 25,000. Just a nuts number. This SR Bakugo putting in numbers for us and another crit. And we did win this stage. It was absolutely ridiculous. I know that was kind of fast, so feel free to go back, pause it, see what I did. But this team works very well. Okay, and this is the team I used for Tower Challenge number 11 and also Tower Challenge number 13. Now, I'm so glad I pulled this Aizawa recently. He is actually like the MVP of this, because Aizawa prevents the all for one that you take on in this stage from doing the thing that reduces your plus ultra gauge, because all for one is like, nah, you no longer have a plus ultra, and then it becomes impossible to clear it in the amount of turns that you need. So Aizawa is really just the MVP, and he is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Okay, and so I equipped this memory to him right here. This one's a little bit different. It increases character's max HP and then also gives character resilience for 5 turns. Whereas with the rest of these characters here, these other 2 characters, I equipped crit memories. Those are both crit memories right there. And then I pretty much did the same thing on the previous team. I know I didn't say before, but I also equipped crit memories on that whole entire team before. So the only thing you really need to equip memory-wise to your characters for these VE Towers challenges are crit memories. In the case of Aizawa, I just didn't want him dying, so I wanted him to have resilience. So I put this memory on him. And I also like the memory a lot. Like, it's just a really cool memory, and I think it has a really good effect. But yeah, this was my team that I ran for the 11th and the 13th Tower Challenge. It did take me a few resets to get it to fully work on the 13th Tower Challenge, but I think it only took me like 2 or 3 resets, whereas that stage you just saw took me, I don't even know, it took me like 30 minutes of resetting to get it to work right, and then in the end I had to forfeit and go out and, like I said, buy the peace board on that Ochako, and then I beat it relatively fast within like 5 minutes. It took me like 2 resets. So you might have to do some resets with these teams that you're seeing, but I will show you the successful attempts at the very least. So here I'm going to show you the attempt with this team on the 13th Tower Challenge coming up. All right. And this is the 13th Tower Challenge. This is where you are fighting All For One. All For One is well, you're technically fighting Tomura Shigaraki, but All For One is definitely the nuisance here. And I slow this down to ×2 because I always miss that counter. So I'll turn it back up to ×3 here in a second. But you'll see just how much of an MVP this Aizawa is. You want him to skill seal right there. I think Shinso might be able to do something similar if you have a Shinso. The SR or the UR1, I'm pretty sure they do something similar, but mainly the goal here was to stop All For One from using his skills, because he has a skill that gets rid of plus ultra gauge meters or gets rid of plus ultras, and we need those plus ultras to clear this. So that was kind of the whole strategy here. And once you get rid of All For One, it's not really too hard to beat this. We do have 7 turns for this one, keep that in mind. So we were able to beat it fairly easily. I do think I switched to target mode here just to finish off Shigaraki. Okay, no, I didn't even... Okay, yeah. So we finished off All For One. I saved it this time. I did a whole bunch of runs. It's hard for me to remember. And now we use all 3 plus ultras on Shigaraki. And I think we might skill seal here. No, we didn't even skill seal him, but we hit for 30,000, which is a lot. Aizawa is really the MVP of this. If you don't have him, unfortunately, it might be kind of difficult to do this, because you kind of need his type advantage, and you need his damage, you need his skill seals. So it is kind of hard to do this one without Aizawa. He's kind of essential. So apologies if you're watching this and you don't have the Aizawa. Maybe you can find another way. If you have another way to make this work out, put it in the comments for other people, so maybe they can try your way. But in my personal experience, like, this Aizawa is just so good and really essential to the team build I have done. And that was my run for the 13th Tower Challenge. It wasn't too hard, actually. That one was probably the easiest, like I said before, because of the Aizawa and because of the skill seal. All For One never got a chance to reduce our plus ultra, so it all worked out okay. Alright guys, and that is how you clear the 11th, 12th, and 13th critical stage tower challenges. I hope this helped you out a little bit. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. Is there a tower challenge you need help with that you'd like me to do a video on next, or you'd just like to see my teams? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Peace.